So, Dr. Jaffe, I just wanted to ask you a question about citrate. You know, I'm familiar with the European therapies that they have citrate therapy as a very positive therapy where they attach minerals to the citrate. A few people in some chat groups have recently discussed that citrate is toxic, citrate is dangerous. Can you help us understand that confusion?
Yeah, it's a surprisingly simple answer. Citrate can be produced through Aspergillus mold and used as a preservative in foods. It's very cheap and not very safe. And I would personally never use it. On the other hand, when you get citrate or citrate malate succinate from biological sources, you have a safer, more pure, more effective, less contaminated, less toxic metal, less harmful molecule. And so the folks who raise the concerns about citrate do not know the difference between the preservative produced from a mold and the biologically produced ACS grade, American Chemical Society, high purity, assayed for every toxin, form that we prefer. So when you're talking about the biological form of citrate, as opposed to the semi-synthetic form through the aspergillus, you have the same word with completely different meaning.
Exactly. Okay.
And by example, since we use citrate in many of our formulas because it alkalinizes, because it energizes the battery in mitochondria, because it helps promote the alkaline cellular environment. Over the years, we've looked very hard for any evidence of any adversity from any of the citrate that we use, because we never use the form that we wouldn't use. We never use the commercial form. I know it's cheap.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the inexpensive form is very often the contaminated or damaged form. And so we go for value. We go for safety and efficacy. And I feel a responsibility as both a clinician and a biochemist to make sure that we know the difference between the bad and the good. So there's a bad form, the Aspergillus food preservative, that I would not use or recommend, and the good form, which we have been using for decades, at least since 1987, and many others before us, with great benefit and great safety.
Yeah, and citric acid is very essential to the whole.
Yes, and when you talked correctly about the European literature where they infuse citrate, they're talking about the same citrate that we use orally.
Yes, yes, yes.
Which is easily taken up because the body likes it.
Right, and I appreciate you also sent me that one article actually talking about the food additive of citrate. This manufactured citrate is a problem, and so we'll just tell people about this and to pay better attention to the forms.
Yes, yes, and in almost any, quote, molecule, you have a more natural, better form, and you have a synthetic work-alike.
Right.
And I always recommend nature and what goes with the natural forms. And I never recommend the work-alikes because I've looked at a lot of these synthetic work-alikes and not one of them really works. And they're definitely not safer. In fact, they're less safe than the natural forms.
Thank you very much. That's very understandable.
Well, I was very glad for the opportunity for us to have this discussion because you emphasized that our audience are not PhD chemists. They're people who want to be healthier. They want to understand the difference between good and bad. They want to understand what the, quote, truth is. And I think it's our obligation, yours, mine, and Jay Shree's, to educate folks, whether they be professional colleagues or they be consumers. Because the difference is life and death. The difference is huge in terms of quality of life, duration of life, cost of care. I would rather invest in quality supplements and quality kitchen ingredients, quality foods, So I don't have to invest so much in the hospital.
Exactly.
Right. Very well said.